Hey friends, before we get started, I'm going to throw a little ad your way. As a cyclist, what is a spring all about? It's about getting your bike ready and learning some specific skills on how to deal with a bike mechanical while out for a ride. Let me ask you this. Do you avoid going long distances because you're afraid of experiencing a flat and not knowing what to do and possibly having to phone someone to pick you up? I can totally relate. I used to be that way. Now, to avoid having that ever happening, I have something for you. I have created an online bike maintenance webinars and local hands-on clinics. Check the website for new dates regularly. Here's what you will learn: how to take your back wheel off, how to change a flat, how to adjust brakes, repair a broken chain, patch a flat. In addition, you will learn how to use the tools you are carrying in your bike bag, such as Allen keys and a chain brake tool, tire levers, how to use your pumps, what are chain links and how to use them. With these new skills and confidence, you will be able to handle any mechanical while cycling alone or in a group. No matter where you are globally, you can benefit from one of these webinars. If you're local, the clinics are more for you, and that's for Ottawa, Ontario area. I've been teaching these clinics for over 10 years, and trust me when I say, everyone learns something. A recording will be provided for the webinars, as well as Amazon shopping lists for both webinars and clinics for the bike tools that you will be using and learning how to use. Make sure to secure your spot today at www.sylviedau.ca or bmcclinic.ca. Thank you very much and enjoy the episode. All right, welcome back to another episode of Secrets from the Saddle, All Things Cycling podcast with your host, Sylvie Dau. And I have the beautiful Jen Stelzer, right?
Yeah.
Yay! Who is a friend of mine. She lives in Ottawa, not very far from me. She's also part of my women's cycling club, CycleFitChicks. But the important thing about Jen is that she is the director of the Community of Sustainable Programs and works for EnviroCentre. So we're going to get right into what exactly she does there, because it's a huge I wouldn't say business, like it's not an advocacy group, but what would you call yourself?
Well, we are engagement specialists for sustainability projects.
For cyclists.
For cyclists, yeah.
So that's why we have Jen here, because she plays a huge role, and also within their company or within their organization, they run a Let's Bike Month, which is the month of June. So she's going to talk all about that as well. So it's encouraging people to get on their bikes and also sign up for it. And they have a lot of great prizes, which I didn't win any last year. And I was wondering, it was like, what is going on here? Anyways, so Jen is, she has a BA in geography with a keen interest in urban landscapes, programs that influence citizen behavior. She is a lifelong cyclist, and her passion for encouraging sustainable transportation and lighter living is reflected in the work that she does. So that's why we were able to encourage her to join our club last year. So she's been talking and about Let's Bike Month for a couple of years at our annual social in the spring. We're like, Jen, you've got to join us. So welcome, Jen, to the podcast. I'm so happy to have you here.
Thanks so much. I'm excited to talk about bikes. Like, for people that don't know, it's kind of snowy and miserable outside. So let's talk about bikes.
Let's talk about bikes. Let's talk about the spring. Let's talk about your Let's Bike Month. So before we get into that, I always love to ask, how you got into cycling and how it led you to where you are today.
Yeah. Okay. So I have literally been biking my whole life. I remember my tricycle from when I was 3 years old. And I kind of never stopped biking since then. So I have literally been biking my whole entire life. Not all, like, as transportation to get to my friend's house, to have fun, to ride around the city. You know, it's like your escape when you're a teenager. You can go a little farther afield. And then I moved to Vancouver and I got really into biking. And that was when I was like 20, early 20s. And I actually did my first bike trip. And it's going to make you fall over, but I biked from Vancouver to Mexico in a pair of cut-off track pants, and I camped the whole entire way along.
Oh my God.
Basically, I quit my job and biked along the coast for a while. And then
A while. How long did it take you?
Fell in love with biking. And that experience, you know, kind of forced me to learn some basic bike mechanics. And my bikes now have become some of my best friends. You know, I love the freedom of being on a bike. I love that you get to meet the people in your community when you ride a bike. I'm a terrible singer and I sing while I ride my bike sometimes. Like, I just love.
I typically have a little song going on in my head too sometimes. And it's always the same one. It's been like that for like decades. I'm like, what is it with this song?
I don't know. And I just noticed myself singing, and then I notice I'm doing it, and I'm like, okay, well, I just passed them. They don't even know. Anyway, so I guess bikes have just really been part of my life for a long time. And then about, say, 7 years ago, I had a really different job. I worked at Statistics Canada. It was a very stressful job. I was interviewing marginalized communities about their access to healthcare, and it was a lot. But as my side gig, I was working for EnviroCentre teaching urban cycling workshops, just as like a fun little lunch and learn thing. Mm-hmm. And then eventually someone left and they said, Jen, do you want to come work for us? Like, apply for this job. So I did. And I never looked back. Like, I basically get to spend my days doing something I absolutely love, which is encouraging people to ride a bike, but also encouraging people to ride a bike more, right? Yeah. So Let's Bike is really about, our target audience is generally people who already have a bike. So we do get some new cyclists, but generally speaking, there are sort of two factions. We have people that have a bike who use their bike to bike on Sunday mornings with their family, but they don't ever think about like using their bike to go to the library with their family or to bike to their friend's house for dinner, or like they don't think of their bike as transportation. They think of it as a fun thing to do on a Sunday morning. And so Let's Bike Month is really trying to encourage people to try a few trips for transportation. Now, you guys kind of flipped me over, right? With the CycleFitChicks, because I am not a sporty spice. Self-declared, I am like bike in skirts and, you know.
I know, I love your urban bike because, you know, I don't have an urban bike, but my very first mountain bike kind of got created into like an urban bike that I don't mind, you know, that I don't have to dress up in my full kit and like go for a serious ride. I can take it into the city and I can use my panniers and I'm not super worried about it being stolen. But now that I hear people want steel bikes, I'm like kind of concerned now.
Yeah. And so then I've gone on many long trips. I do have a cross bike, a gravel bike. But even then, like, if I'm putting on spandex, it's got to be more than 50 kilometers or I'm not interested, right? Like, that's just not happening. So anyways, I ran into you guys. I got to know the ladies in the club, I think, were my biggest sales pitch. Quite honestly, like, it's not like I needed to ride my bike more, but I just loved the vibe kind of thing. And then I thought, well, you know, I should actually learn how to ride in a group because it's something I didn't know how to do. I have never ridden with others. I'm a very like solo cyclist, right? And I I literally joined to expand my own skill set and kind of get a new perspective of that culture as well, right? Because I didn't know it, quite frankly.
I
And
remember.
turns out they're awesome also. So now I'm just wearing my spandex jersey like a champ.
You are, you look
And,
awesome. But I remember you in the Learn to Group Ride clinic, and I love the stories of every lady, the introductions, and to hear where everybody's coming from. And I remember yours, you know, riding by yourself for such a long time, all by, you know, like always and now. You know, there's always place for like the solo stuff, but you know, the camaraderie of social riding is so much fun, you know, and those are some of the best rides I remember, like last summer myself.
Oh yeah. So so anyways, I guess I should circle back to the Let's Bike thing. But anyways.
Well, you can, yeah. I mean,
whatever. I think so. The moral of the story is, before Let's Bike was Let's Bike, it was Bike to Work Month for 10 years. So we ran Bike to Work, 10 years. It was Bike to Work Month, and it only focused on commuting trips. It only was, we worked with employers, you were logging a commute. We didn't care if you were going on a leisure ride. We didn't care if you were biking to the library. We only cared about biking to work. And there was purpose behind that. It's because that's how Statistics Canada gets their modal share for cyclists. That's how infrastructure cycling, that's where they get their data, is from commuting cyclists, right? And then the pandemic happened, and then no one had to work. And we literally sold our building. Like, I don't have a commute to work anymore. Like, you're at my work here.
Oh my gosh.
And that'll be forever. So we were like, how could we run a bike to work program and not
there's no
work ourselves? And how can we support all the other folks that are in the same boat as us? So we shifted the whole program shifted to, you know what, we will still support you if you're biking to work, and we're still going to support our big employers who have, you know, the capacity to run the bike programs. But if you want to bike to volunteer, bike for fun, bike on a big sports ride, do some training, bike for any reason, you're in. We want you to be a part of this fun campaign.
I think it's better, you know, because then you get a greater demographic.
Absolutely. And we really noticed, like really noticed that all of a sudden we were always, as they say, preaching to the choir, right? Like, we weren't always showing up for the bike maintenance workshop for the guys that all bike, and we're all going to have pizza in the lunchroom. Like, it was really like all of a sudden our demographic shifted. We had more seniors, like 7% of our people are over 65 years old. That's amazing, right?
Yeah.
And so we were able to really talk to people and encourage people of every background and answer questions too. Like, we do a lot of free workshops, and we do a lot of fun events, and we help with route planning. Like, a lot of people have challenges with route planning in the city. So we help with that a lot. So so it was a big success. We had over 2,000 people register last year, and we're expecting over 3,000 this year. So
wow, that's a lot of people. Because I was like, you know, how many people could possibly? I'm like, I would guarantee to win something. Not even close. But that's a lot of people. And you had some fabulous prizes, by the way. You want to share some of the prizes that you had?
This year we have way more prizes. So we really felt strongly, like, remember, there's kind of like this global pandemic, and businesses were having a bit of a hard time, right?
Yeah.
The bike shops were crazy busy. So we didn't really want to be bugging them too much, because they were just slammed, as you know.
They didn't have anything to give anyway.
And then the restaurants were holding on to their businesses by a thread. So we didn't really want to be bugging them. So we kind of just went to, you know, our normal friendlies, like, we need some prizes. But this year we've gone back to like the full tilt. We have amazing prizes this year. So Well, some of
Okay,
them.
you're gonna have to share
Okay.
a couple of these amazing prizes so everybody gets super psyched about going, because you can go right now to Let's Bike and register yourself. It doesn't start till when?
It's in June. Yeah,
It's in
June 1st is when we sort of reset everybody's account. And then, but only temporarily, so it's okay. We give it all back to you at the end of June. So for June, we are tallying how many trips we have. We're collecting, like, you know, how far people went on average, that kind of stuff.
Okay,
Like,
so let's go back to the prizes, because I want to go back to what you were just talking about. I have a couple questions.
And then
So
I'll tell
let's
you
talk
the
about
process of how it works. But we'll go
yes,
to
okay.
the fun part. Okay, so the prizes are like VeloFix, who I know you know VeloFix. So he's a great partner of ours. He has been forever. So he offers us 4 $100 Velo bucks, where he'll come to your house and do a tune-up, and you get a $100 coupon for him. So that's pretty great.
Awesome.
We have a lot of restaurants like Hittenberg Public House and Piazza Pizza. Lots of great restaurants have stepped up this year. We have most of the bike shops contribute. So Bishtaka has given us, I think, $400 worth of gift cards to give away. So that's pretty great. You can actually go on our website, and as we get the prizes, we load them up there. So you can go on and dream that we're starting to load them already. So if you go to letsbike.ca, and you'll see a thing that says prizes. You can see all the prizes, yes, as they're coming in, and they're coming in fast and furious. Red Blacks tickets and Titans tickets and NEC tickets, all the tickets to the things. Yes, lots of tickets. We actually ask, because we're an environmental nonprofit, and we used to give away like stuff, like here's a plaid pannier, and Mr. Smith would be like, thanks. So now what we do is we really do ask for gift cards, services, and tickets, because
it makes sense.
Then people can go into a shop and get whatever they want. Rebrek and Crows has also always been a really fun partner. They do give us a whole bunch of bike gloves, like really nice cycling gloves, and those ones you go to their shop to pick the size you want, because again, like you don't want to win the wrong size. And
I know, because then you have to ship. You're like, oh my God, I just want to email the gift certificate or send it by mail.
And the shipping is literally like me or one of my staff on a bike biking to your house to drop it off these days. So it's really better.
You're just like, how do we avoid that?
Exactly. Yeah. So in order to win a prize,
good.
You know what you have to do? You ready? You need to ride your bike. We don't care how far, how many times.
No, but before that, you have to register yourself.
Yes.
You get this really cool app that works really well.
It's simple.
Yeah. It is very simple. I was surprised. I'm like, wow.
We're all about simple. We don't collect a lot of information because we send a survey afterward that people can opt in to fill in if they want, to help us build our understanding of the cycling community. But we really felt we didn't want to put more barriers into the actual campaign. So we don't ask for much. We do ask for, like, we need an email in case you win a prize. We need to be able to contact you. We need a name or a pretend name or something to call you. We need, I don't even know. I think we asked for the first 3 digits of your postal code so that we can have an understanding and make sure we're representing and providing programming across our big city,
Right.
But we don't ask for much. It's all confidential. And then what happens is literally every morning, 2 of my staff go on the app and they press a button and it goes, and it just randomly picks a person that has logged a trip. So if you have registered and you haven't logged a trip, you're not in the prize pool yet. So you have to register, and then you have to have logged at least 1 trip. And we honestly don't care if you bike 2 kilometers or you did your big century ride, because our our campaign is really about celebrating every bike trip. So we want to make sure that, you know, people biking to the library are just as awesome as people biking out to Fitzroy Harbor and back, right? So I think it's really important. It's all random, and we do it every morning. So
all right. Now you said I have my account there from last year. And so all I have to do is start logging as of June 1st. Or do you encourage people to log there all the time?
Yeah, so people absolutely can use our app year round because it's really fun. So when you log a trip, let's say you went 10 kilometers on your bike ride, it's going to say Sylvie went 10 kilometers. She saved 2.25 kilos of greenhouse gas emissions. She saved whatever it will be. It won't be very much. It'll be like $6, I think, by choosing to bicycle instead of drive a single occupancy vehicle. So we kind of show you the impact of your choice. We're going to have to be bigger now, right? Because of the gas price. Write that down. Yeah, so we do show you the impact of choosing to ride your bike. And then at the end of the month, we show you your grand total. So over the course of June, your impact's going to be, you know, pretty high. Yeah. Because you bike a lot. And even if every trip you made wasn't for transportation, we understand that like sports trips aren't necessarily averting GHG. It still lets you understand the difference of like biking 1,000 kilometers versus driving 1,000 kilometers and the impact that has. So you know, if you are only doing transportation, that is a true aversion rate. Like that is truly, you didn't take the car. And if you're doing it as leisure or sport, we know that it's not a true aversion rate, but it's a true helping people understand the aversion rate of their choices, right? And hopefully encourage people to be like choosing biking more often. I think a lot of the work I do in all of my programs is really like trying to get people to understand their individual choices they make every day have a huge impact on our climate. And it's really quite the opposite. Like climate change, I won't go whole into climate change, but climate change happened essentially because of the individual choices we have made, the way we have voted, the choices we make, the houses we live in, the way we get around. Those are all individual choices, right? The businesses we support, everything like that. And the way we got into that problem is individual choices. And the way we have to get out of it is also individual choices. So that's kind of what I do all day long.
But that's a really good point, because you're also, well, you're talking environmental impact, but also the fact of getting healthier. I don't know if you like put a big emphasis on that. And it should, and do you think like, as I know we're like in Ottawa and everybody's looking at the same weather, but as soon as it gets nice, do you start talking about using the app and getting on your bike and you know, and plus the gas prices, like wouldn't it be better to be on your bike and looking at the impact that you can make before June?
Oh, we run a winter cycling program. I literally wrote a guide on how to bike year round, and we run winter cycling workshops. I've been biking year round for 42 years.
Oh, so really? Okay, everybody, like I'm going to go and check this out.
Yeah.
So all your clinics are on your page.
Yeah, so the workshops that we're offering this year, we have 3 that we're offering. We changed them up a little. So we run one called Urban Cycling. And urban cycling is really about tips and tricks and understanding infrastructure that sometimes people don't know. Like some people actually don't know what a bike box is. What is a sharrow? How do I ride over a sharrow? Like there's some stuff. What do those 3 little dots on the road mean? And so we go over all of these things.
Maybe I should go and attend.
Yeah, right. And
just like
things in there that are very Ottawa specific.
Uh-huh.
And then we also, because everyone that works at EnviroCentre walks the talk. So all the people running our bike programs are cyclists. We're all cyclists. We've all been biking a long time. So you're actually getting information from people that know. Right?
Right.
Anyway, so it's pretty great. And we just answer questions. We talk about etiquette. We talk about urban cycling tips, even like how to carry stuff, the difference of having a backpack where you need to have it nice and tight if you choose to wear one, or putting something in a pannier where your center of gravity is much lower. Like we go over like true urban cycling tips. That's one workshop available in French or English. Anyways, and
So
then we have
that one's online, right? So
no, we do them in person. We do them live,
okay.
so we can answer questions. They're all different, and we talk to
now everything's in person. Yay.
Yeah, I know. Soon we'll be doing them all in person. They're online, like they're virtual, but live, I guess, is what I mean. Yeah. Then we have one called Discover Your City by Bike, which I think I even maybe did for CycleFitChicks last year. I think I did. And that one is sort of highlighting.
That was really cool.
Fun places. And a lot of route planning. So we show people how to use Google Maps as a route planning tool. The City of Ottawa, Ottawa website, which is a little bit complicated to use. If you don't know how to use it, it lets you know like where the infrastructure is basically. And then Bike Ottawa has an amazing mapping tool too. So we go over route planning tips, and we try to get folks to understand like people that don't ride their bike often, like those recreational cyclists, tend to be the folks that are trying to bike on the roads they drive on. Like they don't always know that there's almost always a nice way to get somewhere. And it might be 3 minutes longer, but it's going to be, instead of being on Carling, you're going to be going through the experimental farm, or instead of going, but it's something no one tells you. And if you didn't know, you don't know, right? So we go over that. And then we have a new one this year called Family Cycling. And we added it because there was a lot of interest, and we see a lot of families out there. And it's like, how do you bike with a little kid? How do you bike with an 8-year-old? How do you route plan with a youngster in the city? Right. Yeah. And so we have a few moms on our cycling team. So we decided this was a good one. And also some tips on biking with older folks as well. So that's a new one, and I'm pretty excited to do that one too.
I like that. We should have you back. You should do something for the club every year, because I know that there's probably new information that comes out every year. And also there's new members in our club. So if anybody who's in the Ottawa region, or even if you're not, you want to reach out to Jen and kind of maybe set something up in your own town.
For sure. We have tons of free resources on our Let's Bike website as well. So if you go to the letsbike.ca website and you just go to the resources page, lots of great short videos about how to bike around a large truck, how to go through a roundabout on a bicycle, lots of great resources.
Oh my gosh, maybe you should start posting some of those on our page. Hey everybody, have you ever thought about this?
I know, and it's funny because like it's scary for people. Like really, it is a barrier. If you are not used to biking in the city and all of a sudden you're out in Orleans and have to go through a 2-lane roundabout, that's really intimidating for folks.
It is.
Right?
So as our listeners, no matter where you're listening from, you can go to her website, Let's Bike, letsbike.ca, and share some of those resources with your friends, with your club mates, teammates. Anything helps to make people safer.
And you know what else we post on there?
What else do you
keep it
post?
really close. It's like my coffee table book. This is like the driver's handbook for cycling in Ontario.
Oh, that's
And
cute.
I feel like everyone who rides a bike should have this just sitting on their coffee table for when their non-bikey friends come over. So that when they say things like, I don't think you're supposed to be biking on the road, you can be like, well,
Oh, we don't have friends like that. No, I'm just kidding.
no, I know, but I hear they're out there. Really relatives. I'm kidding.
I know. So I was going to ask you now, before we got started, I thought you worked for the city of Ottawa, but you said no. But so what is your relationship, like EnviroCentre's relationship with the city of Ottawa? Because they're the city of Ottawa.
So EnviroCentre 20 years ago was started as a side organization to the city of Ottawa to help with environmental programming at the city. That was like 20 years ago. And then maybe like 5 years or a few years after that, we kind of like outgrew the city. There were more projects that we could work on that weren't just with the city. So we separated and went our own way. But the city continues to be our biggest, well, one of our very biggest clients. And we do a lot of outreach and engagement support for the city of Ottawa programming. So I run actually 17 different programs at EnviroCentre that are community outreach programs. So I actually do stormwater stuff. I do other things. I do electric vehicle stuff. I do waste diversion stuff. But the big hub that started it all was sustainable transportation. And really we run for the city a program called TravelWise, which supports large employers on commuting, sustainable commuting, so walking and biking to work. So usually employers with like 5,000 to 10,000 employees, kind of big. We run the Cycling Safety Awareness Program, it's called, and that's like if the city has a particular challenge or the councillor gets a call about something that's happening in their community, we go in and we basically act as a consultant and we provide solutions and sometimes on-site support. So let's say a good example is something that we bike through a lot. Actually, one of my little projects is out in Orleans where a bike path crosses right behind a seniors center. And people were, there was like a conflict zone there. So we did like a public outreach campaign and put up some cute signage and made people understand that seniors are crossing in this area. So we do a lot of that kind of work where we're kind of problem solving the bike
right
things.
I think I know what spot. That's where all the nice gardens are, right?
Exactly. And they want to cross the path.
Where I was like, slow down.
Gardens.
Look at the flowers.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's like an example of that program. And sometimes when new infrastructure goes out, like when the O'Connor bi-directional bike lane went out, was put down and everyone freaked out because there was a bi-directional bike lane. What? 2 directions on the road on a one-way. So we were out there for a good long time talking to residents, business owners, cyclists, pedestrians, vehicle, like everybody, everyone who would listen. So that's that program. Then the fun one I do that you have no idea I do is I do the school active transportation program. So that's with the city of Ottawa and the Ottawa School Bus, Ottawa Transportation Authority. And so we run programs that encourage children to walk and bike to school. So the Walk a Block program and that kind of stuff. So we run that program. And then of course, Let's Bike is EnviroCentre's program, but the city gives us some funding for it. They provide about just under half the funding for the program, and the rest is provided through EnviroCentre and sponsors. And we work with them a little in the sense of like, are there any issues they really want us to bring forward to the community this year that's been a big challenge, or is there anything new? Like the big new thing in Ottawa is that every bus will have a rack and roll on it this year.
Cool.
Every bus. So you don't have to wait for the right one. It's like every bus will have one, which is really great news for people especially road riders who maybe don't have a car. They can hop on a bus, get way the heck out to Stittsville, whoop, and bike off
back.
into the sunset.
Right.
Yeah, so that's the kind of work we do.
That is very cool. Wow.
Yeah. It's all bikes all the time over in my world.
I see that. That is super fun. I mean, you have a lot of things going on, and I can see where I can collaborate with you personally.
Okay, good.
So I'm just going to, well, we could take that offline, but like I was mentioning, like my bike maintenance clinics and maybe even my learn to group ride clinics outside the club. Because like, you know, the club has their own specific for everybody there. But I would definitely love to be offering some of that with more exposure to new cyclists who are not in the club. Because riding with others, I mean, a lot of people want to ride with others. A lot of people are totally intimidated with riding with others. And just, you know, don't know the terminology and how to ride safely. And it's something that I've never been able to really get off the ground outside the club is that program, like that clinic, because I think it's just so powerful for anybody who rides a bike, you know, like how to corner properly.
Well, and
you know,
the city of Ottawa is putting a bit more effort into infrastructure outside the core. So there is a program in place that is called I'm probably calling it the wrong thing, but it's basically the Paved Shoulder Spine Network. So it's to ensure that people living outside the core and even outside our suburbs have paved corridors to ride on. And that's where people, again, they need experience or a person who has experience. And I would add, and I'm saying this as me, but I think it's a really important thing. It's pretty great to have a woman doing those kinds of things. Like when I do like I said, I ride my bike year round. And if you look up winter cycling right now and Google an image search of that, it's going to be all men in blizzards. That's what you're going to see. The whole thing, right? Like you're not going to be like, oh, and there's a 51-year-old lady who's a mom, you know, like I'm not represented there. And when you say like, you know, I'm a hardcore winter warrior, like I am not hardcore or a warrior at anything, to be honest. And I sort of feel like
you are.
It's like the bike world, specifically the sporty bike world, can be an intimidating place for a new cyclist, right? Like you think, oh, I'm not good enough, I'm not fast enough, I can't do it, everyone's going to be stronger than me. And those are the folks that need the most help and the most encouragement, right? And so to have a friendly face, to have literally a mom or you know, someone that is friendly, that isn't there to judge you, that just wants to truly help you out, is everything to folks, right? Like the real there are no stupid questions kind of model is a pretty nice place, you know?
It's funny, like I've been teaching that for 14 years. Like, you know, same stuff, same parking lot, same, you know, like, and it just blows me away of how people progress it like over 4 hours. Like you just saw yourself, like everybody's super intimidated. Then at the end is like, you can conquer the world. Like, and really you can go anywhere. You can feel comfortable joining any group ride because you know what to do. And it doesn't,
and you know the rules. Like it's just
you don't have to be in a fast group. You can be in you can be in a slow group, you know, like it's just the point that you know and know what to expect. And, you know, you can either direct someone or you can be directed because you know the how to do it. And and
I really feel like getting anyone comfortable riding their bike encourages them to ride their bike more, right? Like they'll go a little farther, they'll go, you know.
And that's like the same deal when people take the bike maintenance clinic, because they're so afraid of going too far and having a mechanical. And what do? Like, you can't always pick up the phone and call your boyfriend or your friend or CAA or Uber. Like, seriously, you need to learn how to deal with the basics that are going to happen. And oh my God, like, I've had things happen to me that I never thought were ever going to happen. And it's just like, but I remembered a story in one of the clinics that I was attending, and I was able to fix. You remember that big slice in my tire?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, when would that ever happen?
I don't know.
Like,
that was the wild one.
That was a while, because I was at first I was just like, and I'm like, who do I call? And then I'm like, no, Sylvie, you're not going to call anybody, because it's going to take forever to get there. Like, you are going to deal with it.
And
this.
Also,
how do you deal with it? How do you deal
not being afraid of your bike. Like, bicycles are actually pretty simple machines if you really look closely, right? Like, they're not crazy confusing. If you actually look, it's like you could draw a line and kind of understand how everything works and what everything must do, even if you don't quite understand maybe how to get your derailleur aligned just the right way, because there's 7 different screws.
That's what the mechanic's for.
Exactly. Or like, don't touch your bearings out in the world.
Yeah.
Because anyways, but that was a really fun thing I did once. So that's just a cute story. Is I had like basic bike maintenance level. I can fix flat tire, I can adjust my brakes, I can deal with the stuff out on the road, but I was like, I want to know how all the things work. So I had a bike mechanic actually lived across the road from me, and I had bought a bike at a garage sale. Like,
you just like,
okay, Rod, here's what's going to happen this weekend. I'm going to take this bike completely apart, like down to nothing, and put it back together again. And if I can't, I'm going to need a little help. So I did.
The phone call.
Yeah. And I took this it was like a 3-speed cruiser, and I took it apart, completely took it apart. It wasn't even broken. And then I put it on.
I'd rather do it with that bike over my bike.
No, I wouldn't do that to like my actual.
Yeah, I know. That's what I mean.
Everyday bike, but I wanted to kind of like really not necessarily even like understand how things work, but like understand how to take things off.
Well, you have to have the right tools. I assume you have all the right.
Yeah.
That's the first thing.
I know.
Get the right tools, and you can do anything.
Well, yeah, but you also need to know a little bit what to do.
I know. So I have all these tools that I've accumulated, like for SRAM, for Shimano, for Campy. So, and I have them all in my tool bag. And I'm like, because I was dealing with a bike last week, I'm like, okay, I have this tool, but I have no idea how to use it anymore, because it's been like 10 years. And so I go to YouTube. What are the tools I need for this bike? Oh, I have that. Okay, that's what this is for. And then I was able to do it.
Yeah. I know. And it was one of those things. I was just like, I was so proud of myself.
I know.
It's like,
and there's no parts left over.
Funny. I could pretty well ride it after.
Yeah. I know. I've had like things disappear. Like, one of the things, if you're going to take it apart, make sure you like it's on a mat of some sort, or you have like a bowl you're going to put everything in, because I've lost key parts before, because I did it on the grass, which was the stupidest thing to do. And I had to wait for a part because I lost it. It was a key.
And some of the parts are teeny tiny.
Oh yeah, they're teeny. They're little bars. They're little pieces of metal. Like, yeah. So if I can give anybody, make sure you have a nice clean space.
But that being said, I don't want to like scare people and think they need to be a professional bike mechanic or even amateur level to ride a bike, especially in the city. I always kind of say, like, do you know how to fix your car? Does it ever worry you that you can't change your carburetor? Like, have you ever left the house and thought, I can't go to the grocery store because I can't fix my carburetor? But somehow that happens with bikes, right? It's like, well, I can't ride my bike farther than 15 kilometers because I don't know how to change a flat tire.
I know.
But it's like, well, can you use
it's
a
debilitating for
phone?
some people.
I know. But anyway, so really,
I know we digress.
We digress. It's what we do. Yes. Anyway. So,
but bottom line, go as a listener, go check out letsbike.ca. Check out those resources, share some with your club members. I'm sure there's something in there that they would find interesting. Going around the roundabout's probably one of them.
Well, and for fun, run your own challenge. Use our website, sign up.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Challenge with your own group and just share results. Like, we will never share other people's results, but if like Sylvie and I wanted to next week be like, we're going to see who can bike the furthest next week, or see out of our club how much carbon we can avert for Earth Week, or whatever you want to do. Like, you can run some fun stuff.
And I guess you can be anywhere and participate in June because it's all gift certificates.
Yeah, so
it's kind of local gift certificates.
Local, yeah. So we do. The prizes
you might want to come
really
to Ottawa. You can come to Ottawa. It's a great place to visit.
Biking in Ottawa, because that's, I think, even in our contest rules, it is Let's Bike Ottawa officially, because our MO is to really get local folks on bikes more.
So, what I was after that, what we were talking about, and we mentioned, and I'm not sure if you did it, was club challenges against each other.
Yeah, do it.
No, you guys need to do it. So we register underneath our club, or is it just individual?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. No, you register as an individual, and then you can start a team. I feel like I should really go over the whole process if anyone really wants to know. So you register. You kind of got digressed after that piece of the puzzle.
Yeah. So, but
you log, and you can register as yourself. And then if you're part of a workplace, part of a club, part of a community association, whatever, you can just say, you want to be on my team, and you can be a team captain. And then you can have 10, I think, actually CycleFitChicks had the biggest team last year, just so you know.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. You need to pump that out for other clubs in our region to
do a club challenge. Yeah. It could be good. We've never done a workplace challenge because we always felt like, who can compete with the government of Canada as the workplace in Ottawa? It's like, this workplace has 40,000 people.
They might all sign up but not do anything.
Shop at the mall has 2 people on their team, right? And so it's tricky to do, but we've always sort of tried to figure out a way to do it. So what we have typically done is, if you start a club challenge and you get, Bike Ottawa and the Ottawa Bicycle Club and all the other folks on board, you kind of could write a little email that just says, hey, we're doing this thing, game on, get your people in. Then they will have their data as well, right? So we have had it happen, for instance, with big companies will poke each other. Like, some of the high-tech companies would be like, I don't want to name them, but one high-tech company would start a team and then nudge the other high-tech company, and then they'd be on social media tagging each other, bragging about their results that day, celebrating if they had a person win a prize that day or whatever. So something like that. We have a lot of privacy rules, so I can't just give out the data from another team without their
well, that should be part of it. We do this,
but you just need to make sure the captain is on board, and that it's sort of all the players are playing the game, right? Yeah. But anyway, there's lots of ways you can use it. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. So with that, all right, so where can everybody find you? We know where the website is, but of course, socials, where's all the socials?
We're all Let's Bike Ottawa, at Let's Bike Ottawa. We're on Instagram, we're on Twitter, and we're on Facebook. We aren't really we don't get chatty again until about May. So the campaign really is in June. And we post the odd thing, but it'll be sort of mid-April that we start, showing up with tassels on our handlebars, felt help kind of thing. Yeah. And then we post a lot after that for the month. And we actually have some special events coming up as well. That there's an events listing page, so that will be kept up to date. So we have free virtual workshops. We offer 20 free virtual workshops that anyone can sign up to no matter where they live. So those are free for anyone. So if they want to watch any of those workshops, urban cycling, discover your city by bike, or the family cycling one, you'll see we'll start posting them. We work with community partners to host them, and the deal is they have to be open to anybody. Right. So you can live in Toronto and come to one of our workshops. We don't actually care. So there'll be 20 of those. Then we have a big event. I haven't even put it out to the world yet because we've just started planning it. I want to make sure I'm going to say the right date. So ZB is one of our sponsors, and we are going to be doing—
What's your sponsor?
ZB, which is they're the land developer on the islands near Le Breton Flats.
Oh, yes,
sustainable One Earth community there.
ZB, yeah.
And I believe you'll have to confirm on our event page when it's up there, but we're going to have a bike and talent show. So we really have this thing like cyclists, more than just bikes. So we're going to have people bike there and host a talent show and offer some amazing prizes for the talent show. And that will be on a Sunday afternoon, I think.
Okay, what's this talent show going to be about? Who can sign up for this?
Yes, you can sign up or you can just show up. So if you have
I might just show up. That might be a good family event.
Oh, it is absolutely for a family. Yeah. So we know we've got some skills in the room. So we're just putting it out there, and we wanted to have a social event. Like, we really felt like our bike community, we miss each other. Like,
we certainly do.
So, so with COVID, we were going to have like a movie, and I'm like, what is a movie? It's like a bad date. Like, you just go and you sit beside someone and you can't talk to them. So
you could,
the talent show.
I guess those are kind of popular too, like, because it would start later because it gets dark later.
Yeah.
And
but it would,
I don't know.
So we might do that later in the fall. Just as a fun
those
thing.
are fun. Like Tuesday night, movie night. But
this one is going to be Sunday afternoon, bike and talent show. It'll be fun. So keep your eyes out for that. It'll be a good one.
All right.
And then you can find us like out in the street sometimes, or at booths. We'll be at a Red Blacks game at the Bike Valet. You'll just find us out and about.
Bike Valet. I love it. Actually, you know what? Who has a great bike valet was the Jazz Fest. Was it Jazz Fest?
All the fests.
That was impressive.
Fest, Blues Fest, Jazz
Fest.
Yeah, they had a great bike valet.
Yeah, we purposely parked to bike in. And I thought that was like beyond fabulous.
Yeah, because you can bring a good bike, right, and not worry about it.
Well, I didn't, but the thing is,
you could if that's your only bike.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it's a really fun time of year. It's all of June. And we are EnviroCentre, and it is Let's Bike Month in June. So
that's right.
Be there,
yay. So thank you so much, Jen. This has been great. And I know that this is sort of local to Ottawa, but as we mentioned, their resources are open to anybody, anywhere. So make sure you go check them out. Make sure you follow them on social media. Make sure you follow our podcast on Secrets from the Saddle podcast on Instagram. And you have yourself an amazing day, everyone. Get on your bike and ride as much as you can. Thanks a lot, Jen.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, friends. Well, I hoped you enjoyed that episode with Jen. Wasn't that amazing? I had no idea Let's Bike was so prominent in our region of Ottawa. So that's where I live. And like I mentioned, I hope you take advantage of going to their website and checking out their resources. I certainly am, because I'd like to see what's up there and share to my audience some of the information that they have there with regards to cycling. So I hope you do the same, and I hope you have an amazing day. And don't forget to share this episode with your friends everywhere and enjoy riding your bike. Have yourself an amazing day, and we'll see you on the next podcast.